Today's story is about two neighbors who share love, but circumstances entangle the foundations of their relationship. On one side, there's a rich father's son, who, out of fear of his family, hesitates to accept the truth of his heart. On the other side, there's an innocent girl from a poor family, torn between her hidden love and self-confidence. Promises break, and their relationship reaches a point where every step creates a new dilemma. So, let's see whether this innocent girl finally finds her love and confidence or not. The story begins in a college library, where a professor, during a writing workshop, asks a girl, "What have you written?" The girl replies, "Nothing," to which the professor asks, "If you had nothing to write, then what was the purpose of coming here?" But the girl had indeed written something, which she hides in her pocket and leaves without saying anything. Her name is Rachel, and she tells us that she belongs to a middle-class family. Near her small house is the grand mansion of the richest Hidalgo family in Luna. Every corner of this mansion looks like a palace, and just outside, in a small section, is Rachel's house, where she lives with her mother. The Hidalgo family has three sons. The eldest son is named Artemis, the youngest is named Apollo, and the middle son, Aries, is Rachel's crush. Rachel tells us that she likes Aries so much that she has saved every little detail about him, his workout routine, and his likes and dislikes on her laptop. The most interesting thing is that she has never talked to Aries face to face. Now, we see that Rachel's laptop's Wi-Fi is not working. She checks the router and looks out her window to see Apollo. She asks, "Are you using my Wi-Fi? How did you get the password?" Apollo replies, "My brother Aries gave me the password. The signal wasn't coming in my room, so I came here." Saying this, he leaves. The whole story begins with this password. Later, we see it's nighttime, and Rachel wakes up to the sound of loud music. She looks out her window and sees Aries playing songs on his laptop at full volume. She angrily says, "Are you doing all this using my Wi-Fi? Lower the volume and go away." Aries responds, "You know quite a lot about me." Rachel angrily replies, "Now I know even more about you," to which Aries, smiling, says, "Which," and walks away. The next morning at college, Rachel meets her best friend, Joshi. Joshi always jokes, "Rachel, I will be your husband in the future," but Rachel always laughs it off. Then Rachel goes to the college field, where all the boys are practicing football. Rachel only goes there to see Aries. Suddenly, it starts raining, and everyone starts running away. Aries, walking home, is silently followed by Rachel. After walking a bit, Aries suddenly disappears from sight, and Rachel starts looking around. Rachel falls into a pit but manages to get up and looks around again. Aris comes from behind, startling Rachel. He asks, "Why are you following me?" Rachel, flustered, responds, "I wasn't following anyone." Aris writes something on her hand and says, "Is this your Wi-Fi password? Because of this password, I had to hack your entire laptop, and I saw all your files. They are full of my pictures and information. Why are you doing all this?" Rachel, in a low voice, says, "Because I love you and I want you to love me too." Aris laughs and says, "You're not even my type." Rachel replies, "We'll see about that later. For now, just drop me home. I'm scared to go alone." Aris, with a mischievous smile, says, "Okay, but on one condition. If you kiss me, I'll drop you home." Hearing this, Rachel first refuses but then agrees. Just as Aris is about to kiss her, he suddenly stops and says, "It's getting late," and then drops her home. As soon as Rachel reaches home, she turns off her Wi-Fi and sits down to have dinner with her mother. At night, Aris silently enters Rachel's room. Rachel gets startled seeing him and angrily asks, "Why did you come here so late at night? I'll have you arrested." Aris replies, "Someone turned off the Wi-Fi, so I came to turn it on. Besides, girls never have their crushes arrested." He then makes her sit on a chair and tells her to stay calm. Slowly, he starts kissing her feet. Rachel's heartbeat quickens, but before things get out of hand, Aris exits through the window, saying, "Good night, witch," and leaves. The next day, Rachel is working at a cafe, where her friend Yoshi is also present. Suddenly, Aris comes there. Seeing him, Rachel tries to hide, but Aris notices her and jokingly says, "Your job is quite interesting." Then he invites her to his club opening party and says, "You can bring anyone with you." At night, Rachel arrives at the party with her friend Daniela. Daniela is very excited and happy to see the club's vibe. Rachel spots Aris, who goes to the VIP area of the club. She follows him, but the guard stops her and says, "No entry without a password." Just then, Artemis comes and lets Rachel in. Even after getting inside, Aris is nowhere to be seen. So, she exits through the back door and sees Aris standing alone in the alley. Rachel approaches him and, while talking, moves closer and starts kissing him. Aris also slowly starts to reciprocate, but Rachel smiles and says, "You messed with a witch, and now you'll have to endure it." Saying this, she leaves him there and goes back inside the club and orders a glass of water for herself. Since they don't serve water, Rachel orders a drink for herself, which Apollo drinks, but he immediately gets intoxicated and starts losing consciousness. Now Rachel and her friend decide to take him home, but Apollo refuses to go home out of fear. When Rachel takes out her phone to call Aris, Apollo throws it outside, breaking it. Then Rachel brings him to her home, where Apollo falls asleep on her bed. After some time, Aris arrives and asks Rachel, "Why did you give him the drink? He can't handle himself after drinking. I knew he wouldn't go home after drinking it. It's 6 o'clock, and until Dad leaves for the office, I have to stay here for Apollo." Then he also lies on the bed, and Rachel quietly comes and lies between them. But here, Aris slowly starts touching Rachel, which gives her a strange feeling, and they begin to enjoy the moment. The next morning, Rachel tells her friends everything about the night, which excites Daniela a lot. After that, Rachel and Yoshi come home to study. Rachel then sees a gift for her, which contains a new phone and a letter revealing it was sent by Aris. After asking Yoshi to stay, Rachel heads towards Aris's house. Outside his house, she meets Claudia, Artemis's secretary, who invites her inside. Rachel goes straight to Aris's room and tries to return the gifted phone. Aris says, "Returning someone's gift isn't nice, and besides, my brother broke your phone." Rachel responds, "Only the screen was broken. My old phone is still working." Saying this, she keeps the phone and starts to leave, but Aris stops her, holds her hand, and says, "I want to kiss you." Hearing this, Rachel pulls her hand away and starts to leave but returns to kiss Aris. Aris realizes it's Rachel's first time and asks, "Think again, are you ready for this?" Rachel says yes, and slowly they both move forward, enjoying the storm and chaos of the moment. After it ends, Aris suddenly gets up a bit rudely and starts playing video games, telling Rachel to take the phone and leave. Seeing his behavior, Rachel also gets angry, throws the gifted phone in the dustbin, and goes home. Upon reaching home, she tells Yoshi, "There will be no studying today. I'm not in the mood at all." Yoshi understands that something went wrong. After that, Rachel angrily shuts her window because Aris's room is visible from there. The next morning, Rachel is at her writing workshop when she receives a picture of Aris on her phone, wearing Rachel's necklace. She remembers that she forgot her necklace in Aris's room the previous day, so she immediately goes to his house to retrieve it. There, Aris is having fun with his friends in the swimming pool. Aris then comes and jumps into the water with Rachel, who says, "The water is salty." Aris explains, "I am allergic to chlorine, so we don't mix it." Rachel says, "I'm not in the mood for swimming. I want my necklace back." So Aris takes her to his room and puts the necklace around her neck himself. While putting the necklace on, Aris kisses her again, making Rachel feel something. They both lose control again, and the room experiences another storm. After a while, Aris suddenly gets up and leaves the room, leaving Rachel there. He felt some anxiety and unease, and during this time, Claudia enters the room and starts mistreating Rachel after seeing her there. Aris listens to all this while standing outside but doesn't intervene. After that, Rachel angrily goes back home. The next day, Yoshi takes Rachel to a party to cheer her up, but Aris is already there with another girl. Seeing this, Rachel's mood worsens, so Yoshi advises her, "Forget him, let's enjoy the party." Then everyone starts dancing on the dance floor, but during this time, Rachel notices Aris kissing another girl, which makes her feel very bad. Rachel's heart breaks, and she goes to the college swimming pool with Yoshi. Daniela is also there, and they start conversing. Jokingly, Rachel pushes Yoshi into the pool, but accidentally, Daniela spills some chemicals into the pool. Rachel immediately pulls Yoshi out, and all three of them run away from there. On the other hand, when Aris returns home, he finds nothing pleasant. He tries to connect to Rachel's Wi-Fi, but Rachel has changed the password. Aris hacks the password and sees that Rachel has written a curse word in the password, which angers him, and he sends Rachel a message that he hates her. At night, Rachel, in a drunken state, returns home but sits outside as she cannot find her key. Aris sees her, comes over, and carries her to her room. Rachel says, "Tell me a story, and then never show me your face again." Aris tells her his story and explains about his parents' relationships, who were involved with different people, and it didn't bother them. Aris's father advised him to stay away from love, making Aris afraid of love. In the morning, Rachel wakes up and sees that Aris has sent and deleted a message. She drafts a message telling Aris to leave her alone but doesn't send it. Aris keeps checking his phone, but no message comes from Rachel. Meanwhile, Aris's father and brother advise him to complete his education and join the company. Rachel is studying with Yoshi in the library when Aris comes to apologize. Rachel takes him outside and tells him that an apology won't solve the problem. Aris invites her to a costume party, and after thinking for a while, Rachel agrees. Yoshi overhears this and advises Rachel that she is making a mistake. He angrily says that if Rachel gets hurt again, he won't be there for her. On the day of the date, Aris takes Rachel to the top of his office building instead of the party, where he has arranged a dinner. They spend time together and enjoy the evening. One day, Aris's brother Artemis goes to Aris's room and shows a video of them to their father, which angers him. Aris says that he doesn't want to work in the company or pursue a degree in economics. Aris goes straight to the cafe where Rachel works and starts working with her. One day, Aris's older brother Artemis visits Aris's room and finds a cap from the cafe. He finds the cafe's address and goes there, seeing Aris working. He also sees Rachel, which infuriates him. Artemis organizes a company party at their house, where Aris brings Rachel to introduce her to his family. Rachel is nervous about being accepted by Aris's family. She doesn't know that her mother is working as a waitress at the party. When Aris is about to introduce Rachel to his family, Artemis signals Rachel's mother to serve drinks. Seeing her mother as a waitress, Rachel feels humiliated and hurt and decides to leave. Aris follows her to explain, but Rachel slaps him and goes home. At home, she starts crying, thinking Aris did this to embarrass her. Angrily, she doesn't talk to Aris for several days. Aris tries hard to reconcile with her. After a few days, they suddenly talk and apologize to each other. Aris asks Rachel to go to the prom party with him, but Rachel refuses. Later, Rachel talks to her mother, who advises her that it's better to fix the cause of a broken relationship rather than ending it. Rachel realizes she might have misunderstood Aris. She goes to Aris's house, but his brother stops her from meeting him. Still, she apologizes to Aris and leaves. Outside, she messages Aris that she will wait for him at the prom. At the prom party, everyone is dancing, but Rachel waits for Aris. Aris rushes to reach Rachel, but Yoshi stops him at the gate, saying that Aris will take advantage of Rachel and leave her. They argue, and Aris drags Yoshi to the bridge. They fight, and Aris falls off the bridge. Due to the chlorine in the water, Aris starts having breathing problems because he is allergic to chlorine. Yoshi goes to Rachel and tells her everything. Rachel immediately runs to the pool, but by that time, Aries has already lost consciousness. Yoshi pulls him out and rushes him to the hospital. Rachel takes care of Aries at the hospital, and Aries' family realizes that accepting their son's love is the better choice. Aries recovers and goes away to pursue his medical studies, which he had always wanted to do. It is difficult for both to be apart, but they stay in touch through video calls. A few months later, Rachel reads out a book to everyone that she has written. The story touches everyone, and they all start clapping. Rachel titles the story, Through My Window, which is a tale of her own love story. The next morning, Rachel is reading a message from Aries and missing him when suddenly she sees Aries sitting by her window, messaging her. She is surprised, and both of them are overjoyed to see each other. The story ends with this scene. Friends, if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and see you in the next video.